Alright, then gang. So the next component we're going to be using is the list group component. This is basically a component that lets us create nice looking lists where the list items are all grouped together like this. And if we scroll down the page, we can see as always different variations of this component. So this is really good for things like comments on blogs, maybe or user lists or to-do list or anything like that. Now in our case we're going to be using it to make a list of book reviews, so let's give it a whirl. Okay, so the reviews are going to go right at the bottom down here, so let's come underneath the last section, and we have the reviews list. We'll do a section with an ID of reviews, and also we're going to give this a class just to give it a background color of the light variable. So class is equal to bg-lights. Now inside here the first thing I'll create is a container, so div container lg. So full width until the large break point, at which point it becomes that kind of rigid container for different widths. Alright, so inside here, and first of all we're going to paste in the title and a little bit of text about this section. So we have a div with text center book reviews and then a paragraph tag by the class of led, and it says what my students have said about the book. So if we take a look, we should be able to see this section. Awesome. So next we need the actual list, so this is going to go inside a grid, and the only reason I'm putting it inside a grid is so we can minimize the width of the list group, because there's only going to be one item in the grid. It's not like we're going to have something on the left and something on the right. The review column is the only thing in it, but I'm placing it inside a row so we can apply those different column classes to it and make it different widths at different screen sizes. So let's create the div and give it a class of row, and also justify content center, and that means it's always going to be in the center no matter what the width of the column is. Alright, so let's do a div, and it's going to have a class of call and then -lg-8, and that's all we need to do. And what this means is for very small screens it's going to be full width. And by the way, this happens because we always start at the smallest size screens and work our way up, and if we don't specify a specific column width for those small screens, so small, extra small, medium, etc., then it automatically goes to full width until we reach the bright point at which we've specified a column width. So full width until then, and then we have 8 columns in width. So that's going to be in the middle, and we're going to have 2 columns of space on each side because of this class right here. Alright, so inside here we need our list group, so let's do a div for that, and it has a class of list -group, and inside here we need different list group items, so for each one we'll do a div, so div.list-group-item, and also I'm going to give each one a bit of padding top and bottom, so py-3. Alright, so that's all there is to it, and inside all we need to do is place some content. So I'm going to do an h5 for the review title. I'm going to give this a class right here, and it's going to be mb-1 just to give it some margin bottom, and then I'll say I must buy for every aspiring web div. Alright, so that's the review title. Underneath that I'm going to do a paragraph tag with the class of mb-1, again margin bottom, and I'll place in some lorem right here. And then finally at the bottom I'll do a small tag for the review person, and that's going to be a review by Mario, and that's all there is to it, my friends. So we have a list group which surrounds all of the list items, and inside each item has a class of list group item, and then you can place whatever content you want inside. And again, there's loads of variations. Let me save this first of all. If we take a look at this down here, we can see this is a single list item. Now I'm going to copy this and just paste in a few times below, so we have a few list items. Something like that, so we have all of these items in the list, and you can see other all together in a list group. Now, like I said a minute ago, there's loads of variations, and if we take a look at list group, right Here you can have different things. You can have colored items inside the list group. You can have, if we scroll down, different styles like this, numbers, badges at the end of it, and also titles. This kind of grid layout, loads of different ways we can use this component, so definitely play around with it. This is just one way, and we are going to build on this later because we're going to add icons into these different reviews right here, star icons to show the star rating. So we'll take a look at Bootstrap icons next.